hopelessness of love. ICRT.
Hello, ladies and gents, boys and gals. Yes, we are about to have a little chat with one of my favorite singer-songwriters, and he is a one-man musical project. His music, it's always uplifting. Even if he writes about heartbreaks, I think the melodies should put a smile on your face. And today we'll be speaking with Harry Lloyd, Waiting for Smith. Hello, Harry. It's good to see you again.
Joey, it's an absolute pleasure to see you, man. It's been too long.
Yeah. It's been a year and a half, I think. The last time we spoke was May of 2020, and we went through a lot in the last year and a half.
How's your year and a half been? What's been the highlight and the downfall of your last year and a half?
Well, I think because we're on an island, so everything has been relatively under control. But are you in the UK right now, currently?
I'm in London at the moment, yeah. Normally in Amsterdam, which has been amazing. I did the first, I think we spoke, it was the first lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the first one just before everything started.
Yep.
And that was in the UK. I was in Oxford for that, which was great. Surrounded by loads of instruments and just like out in the sticks. And then I decided when we could travel again to go to Amsterdam, try it out, see what it was like. And I was like, I love this so much. I'm never going to leave. So I decided, I got my residence thing there as well. So I have a Dutch ID card, but I'm always based between London and Amsterdam.
Nice.
And when I can travel, I come back to London. So it's the best of both worlds. I'm loving it.
Harry, I do wonder if the reason that you fell in love with Amsterdam was because there's a load of instruments.
Yeah. I fell in love with Amsterdam. Mainly, I know Amsterdam has people have preconceptions about it, but it's basically when you get past all the obviously legal marijuana and other things, it's a beautiful place with very happy people. I think one of the things that really attracted to me about it was the fact I had a conversation probably 3-4 months in from being there with a bus driver. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, how are you doing? How's your day? And we had this great chat. And he really seemed happy to be driving his bus and doing what he was doing. And it just gave me this feeling of like, well, if a place is doing what they love, it breeds this kind of joy. You know, people are just happy to be there, whether they're driving a bus or they're going to the office or, you know, whatever they do for a living. And when you're kind of surrounded by that, it's addictive. And I felt that maybe that wasn't so much the case in London.
I was just going to say that because I haven't been to either city.
Yeah.
But I've always felt that, you know, Amsterdam's a happy place and London is rainy, it's wet, people are a little depressed and a little pissy. So for you to travel between the two, I mean, sharp contrast, Harry.
I know. It's a complete opposite thing. Also, I find it quite ironic that I decided to go from the most mountainous region of France, where I was a ski instructor for 4 years, I think I told you last time, to then the flattest place in the world. I'm a man of extremes, Joey. Yeah? I like it. Keeps me sharp.
Good. I think contrast is what artistry is mainly based on.
Yeah.
And even though this album, this EP, it's got hopelessness as the common thread between most of the songs, but it's really about communications, right? And we can tell through the MV of Hopelessness of Love, you use sign language, you use painting, use contemporary dancing to interpret that. And I'm guessing that's the idea behind it.
Yeah, the whole Hopelessness of Love idea, although the thread is one that, it's difficult. Of course it's hard. Of course it's difficult. Yeah. You know, I think one thing that I've noticed does consistently work, and not to sound like corny or anything, but is being loving, is love, is kindness.
Yeah.
It consistently as a tool of communication, it is so effective. Like if you're ever having problems with someone, to really try to understand the way that they're thinking, immediately will make you go, oh, that's why they're being difficult. Mm-hmm. And then it's not a problem about you anymore. It's really turning it around and going, how can I understand that person better?
Yeah.
As opposed to blame them, you know? And that's something I've always been interested in. Because I'm really interested in this great book that I read when I had my accident 5 years ago, when the accident that got me into music, called the Tao Te Ching.
Come again? What is it called?
It's called the Tao Te Ching.
Okay.
And it's the Tao translates as the way. And it's really a philosophy for life. And it was written 3,000 years ago.
Yep.
But the stuff still sticks. It's still the same stuff. Be kind, be present in family life, do what you love. They were saying it thousands of years ago.
Yes.
And it's now relevant and it's coming back. And I truly think there's a wave of change happening from these last 2 years. And I choose to see it. I know people have had difficult times, but I choose to see it as a wave of goodness that's gonna bring us all closer to who we are and what we love, what we want to do.
I love that. I was actually a little surprised that that's the book you referred to. The author is called Laozi, I think.
Yeah.
And
Laozi,
I remember at the start of that book, I think he said something to the effect of, if you can explain the way, the Tao, then it's not the real Tao.
Yeah.
It took me so long to figure that out, Eric.
Yeah.
What does he mean by that? So communications has many forms, many ways, and you need to figure it out. If you only had to speak it and someone could receive it, it's not that easy.
Right? Sometimes, I was listening to something the other guy. I'm a massive fan of Alan Watts as well. I love his stuff. He was a 60s, really 60s philosopher, 70s philosopher, and he was great friends with another writer called Aldous Huxley, and his kind of big thing was Zen Buddhism. And he says, at the beginning of his early interviews, I could sit here all day and I could explain to you what it means, how I've studied it, but let's just be quiet for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And within that, you'll probably understand more than me saying it to you for the next hour. Mm-hmm. And it's something so weird. And you're like, but what? And the interviewer is like, but what do you mean? I don't understand. Explain it, And we all know that's the crazy thing that I'm starting to realize is we all kind of know what's right, and why, what is that? But if we start to listen to that intuition, I truly believe we are capable of the most extraordinary things.
Yeah, I agree. Listen to your intuition. And if you can't quite hear yourself, well, then listen to the music from Waiting for Smith for now and see if you can't figure out what he's trying to tell you through the music. I'm sure you're going to be doing more MVs for this EP because it seems like it's a very thematic project.
So I've got a new project on the go at the moment. So we had Hopelessness of Love was the music video to really wrap up the EP and something to kind of think about visually. The next EP is called Trying Not to Try.
Nice.
But the concept of trying not to try is also one that's interlinked with the Tao and all this kind of stuff, which is really about sometimes we can try too hard. We get too much in our own way to find success, to find happiness. And sometimes it's about not trying and it's about just being like, oh, I'm happy here. I'm happy because I'm just present. That's happiness, right? It's so simple. And this new EP really is about that. It's about exploring that stuff and the simple stuff and mental health. And so we're trying to do a music video for most of those new tracks. The first one, Scarlet Dawn, should be out in October, which I'm really, really excited about. Got a great music video idea for it. And then there's some other tracks following that, and they're kind of piano-led stuff, a lot of them, and some more gospel influences, and hopefully stuff just to bring about a few tears, but some kind of feelings of hopefulness, where you're like, okay, it might be difficult, but it's all going to be all right in the end.
Very nicely done. We've come full circle and back to the idea of contrast again, right? From hopelessness to hopefulness, these two EPs. And looking forward to this next project. Trying not to try. We're going to be trying not to try to anticipate it too much. It'll happen to us when it happens to us, Harry. Thank you so much for this very cerebral conversation. I mean, I don't know how well it's going to do for promoting the song. I don't know if people will fall asleep listening to this conversation, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. Is as long as we had fun, right? Who care about the guys who are watching
I hope
this?
someone else will enjoy it too. Or maybe it'll be great listening to go to bed too.
Yeah. Like a podcast that you fall asleep to.
Yeah.
All right, so today we had a conversation with Harry Lloyd, Waiting for Smith, and we, of course, can right now listen to the whole EP, Hopelessness of Love, but Try Not to Tire is on its way, and looking forward to it. Harry, thank you so much for joining us here.
Cheers, man.